Hello, oh my god, I can't really believe I'm doing this right now, but I am starting my channel about astrology and why it's made such a big difference in my life and also everyone around me that I meet. I've been so into astrology ever since I was young. I started reading birth charts about a year ago and made so many just conclusions and epiphanies about why we are the way we are, how we can better understand ourselves, what our life purpose is, what we're going to be truly fulfilled in if we go after it, what we should really put our time into. And these are things that if we have a great understanding of who we are as a person, then we can just succeed in everything we do. So this is why I'm doing it, because I want to help people just know who they are and what they're worth. So if you have never really learned much about astrology, pretty much what you need to know is that it is a map of the frequencies that were put into the universe at the time you were born. And so that is what determines what your frequency will be like in certain areas of your life. So, in order to help you understand this, I'm going to be posting about a video a day on different aspects of astrology so that you can understand. And then after that, I'm going to start interviewing people so that you can see like exactly how it relates to that person. You can see it actually happening. Oh, okay, that's a Scorpio energy. Okay, that's an Aries energy. Things like that, because I think that will help you tremendously in just identifying who is what. Because I'm at the point now where I can meet someone, they'll say a few things, and I'll be like, "Oh, are you an Aquarius?" And they'll be like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that because you were just giving off that Aquarius vibe. You seem like an Aquarius." So this is what I want to just help people to understand. Now, because I knew that person was an Aquarius, I could talk to them in a way I knew an Aquarius would appreciate and would, actually understand. And the same with every other sign. And now, one thing I want to make sure everyone understands is that you are not just your sun sign. This is everything about astrology. Whatever you have thought that, oh, okay, I'm a Gemini, that means that I'm just like all the other Geminis, but I'm not. But I'm not like all the other Geminis. I'm different. I don't think I'm actually crazy. You might be a little crazy, but this is where your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus, your Mercury, your Mars, all the houses, your north node, your south node, this is where everything comes in to play in order to pretty much birth your personality. So you are not just your sun sign. That is a big part of you, but it's not only who you are. So that's why you're different from everybody else. It is, so what it's all based on is where you were born on the planet, where you were born, because that determines where the sun was. What time, the exact time you were born. We don't need to know seconds, but that helps. But the exact time you were born. If you don't know, ask your parents or look at, I think it's on your birth chart. But check that out. And also, obviously, your birthday. And also, your gender does matter. It's a little foggy right now with understanding what the differences of male and female are, but there are studies that are determining why men and women are different based on astrology. So like a Gemini female isn't really going to be the same as a Gemini male. Very different. But still have the same sort of frequency. So maturity levels come into it. So to start off, I wanted to go over the basics of a natal chart. So here I'm using my own natal chart because I have planets in almost every sign. So almost every sign. So I think that it will be a good one to just get used to. But what I need you to understand is that this is my own chart. This is not how a chart is supposed to, not necessarily supposed to, but a standard chart is different from this. This is my own. Everyone has a different chart. I've never met someone who has a standard chart. I've met people who have a similar chart to the standard one, and those are very special people. But I've never met someone who has the same one. So I think that would be like the equivalent of God, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, a standard chart starts with Aries and goes counterclockwise from the 9 o'clock position, which is your rising, all the way to Pisces. So Pisces would be above the 9 o'clock line, and your Aries would be below the 9 o'clock line. So below, I hope you can see this. Below the 9 o'clock line is your rising sign. Rising would also be termed ascendant, and your ascendant line is pretty much how you are when it comes to first impressions. So when you first meet someone, they're going to pick up this sort of vibe from you, and mine happens to be in Virgo. So I come off as a Virgo. Virgo is someone who is very organized, put together, considerate. They have thought a lot about what they're going to say or do. I like to say Virgos are like sort of the Wonder Woman of the signs, because she is one of the only real feminine signs. Meaning if a man is born into Virgo, he will consider things the way a female would. Not saying you are, feminine, but saying that you think with a female mentality, which is a great thing. You're very powerful if you're a Virgo man, because you get both masculine and feminine. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So my rising is Virgo. Now my sun is Gemini, all the way up here on the MC line, or the midheaven. What that determines is sort of how you just are, like the kind of things that you do. Like, for example, since mine is in Gemini, I'm very kind of scattered brained. I'll go from one topic to the next. I'll talk about every single thing you can imagine. I have a hard time, I just have a hard time focusing, honestly, because Gemini is the duality. They are the twins. They have a dark side and a light side. They're always sort of in between sides. It's hard for them to actually make a decision. Similar to Libra, similar to Pisces, because those are also dualistic. Also sort of Cancer in a way. So that's the MC line. The MC line is also the start of the 10th house. Houses are what go around here. So like the pizza slices here, those are the 10th house, or the houses. And these are what determine what area of life you're in. Sorry, it's not focusing. Okay. So this is like the first house would be birth and how you are as a baby. The second house would be as sort of a toddler. And the third house would be, just kind of going through the list. So everything, I'll explain all the houses in a different video so that you can fully understand which ones they are. But for now, it's just know that it goes from birth to childhood, to teenage years, to adulthood, to like elderly, not elderly, but mature adulthood. So, and it starts at immature. So the first quadrant here is immature. The second quadrant is this is immature, because the IC line kind of is your marker for immaturity. And now after you pass the immature line, it's showing that you're starting to overcome immaturity and you're starting to want to mature. So you're leading up to maturity. Now, after you pass the descendant line, you're going into your maturity lessons. So these are all the things that are going to test your own level of maturity. Up here in the third quadrant and in the fourth quadrant here, this is once you've passed the MC, you are now mature and you are going into life with a lot of wisdom. So the reason why it's based on maturity level is because you start with Aries and you go to Pisces. And so Aries is the sort of like the baby of the signs, and that is not a bad thing. Trust me, that is a good thing. And goes all the way around to Pisces, which is like the very elderly person who, it's not elderly, it's very wise person who is very empathetic. They know a lot about life. They've been through it all. And they sort of have the mentality of someone who needs to move on in their life. I'll explain more about every sign in other videos, but I just want you to have a full understanding of what this is and how it maps out your lifespan. It's not really, well, I'm not going to say it determines how long you will live or when you're going to have kids or what, but it can determine a lot of like when you're going to find, you know, a love that makes you really fall hard. It could be also when you lose that love. It could be, a thing that I have developed is, well, I had an epiphany of it. It probably already exists, but I have not read it anywhere yet. But it is based on when you will experience enlightenment. And I'll explain that in another video, actually. I could keep going on and on and on. There's so much to know about astrology. I've spent an incredible amount of hours teaching myself all of this, analyzing people. My entire life I've been analyzing people, especially with my Virgo rising. I am an over-analyzer. I like to soak everything up as a sponge. I have a Pisces moon. Oh, I didn't talk about my Pisces moon. Pisces moon in here. So meaning I'm very empathetic. I can really catch on to someone's vibes and just sort of know what's going on. And so those are, you know, my rising, my sun, and my moon really have a lot to do with who I am. And it will for you too. So if you want to know what your birth chart is, go to astro.com, and then under horoscopes, there's a, I think it says ascendant natal chart tab there under horoscopes, and you can access your own birth chart there. This is an astro birth chart. There are many other softwares that you can use, like websites that will develop your birth chart. But I find that the best one to give you the most information and easiest to read is the one from Astro, and I can tell you most astrologers agree with that. So just go to astro.com. And I hope you guys like what I have to offer. I mean, let me know what you think. I don't know, this is my first video. It could be great or it could be terrible, but I'm just starting to get used to being in front of the camera. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon.